So when it comes to self-improvement, there are many things that we overlook. And it happens that we tend to have access to information out there that allow us to see which are the behaviors that we need to change in order for us to improve. But then we repeat the old patterns, and let's say, for example, in the love matters, we were this type of people that accepted breadcrumbs or accepted mistreatment. And even though we had this access to information that allowed me to see what was that I needed to change, yet I started to repeat these same behaviors. So that's why I would like just to talk today about which are the skills that we need to develop in order for us to actually reflect on what we are learning and apply it and see the importance of it. So I would like to focus or talk about critical thinking. So the critical thinking is that we have information where we rely on facts that later on we combine or blend with our opinion or what we know, and then we form a conclusion on it. And that's the first part about how we manage to process the information we are gathering. And later on, then we go with some process that we need to follow in order for us not only to apply what we're learning, but also to take seriously the process of self-improvement. So when we're going into this process of self-improvement, we need to realize that this includes that we need to study, we need to learn something. It's not only reading the information or listening to it for the sake of doing it and then repeating the same behaviors, but it's acquiring some skills that are going to allow you to interiorize this information and actually apply it because you see the importance of it. So which are these skills? So the first one is focusing. And when you focus, maybe when you're reading, maybe when you're listening to a podcast and even watching a video, you're going to select this information that is really important for you. Let's say, for example, you want to stop procrastinating. And you're going to select these words or maybe these phrases or actions that are going to allow you to see what is it that it's making you procrastinate, or which are the things that will allow you to stop procrastinating. Then we go to remembering, and that just brings me back to these memories of my childhood when my parents thought that by learning something I needed to learn the things by heart, but it's completely wrong. There are so many ways that we can use the remembering process by using different techniques. What works for me is when I explain this information that I already acquired. I can explain it not only to myself, I can explain it to somebody else, and even when I do it here on the YouTube channel. And that allows me just to retrieve this information as much as possible. And then we go to the organizing. Of course, when we organize the information, we realize what is it that we need to put first. Perhaps this is what I need to work the most in order for me to stop procrastinating. And then we just make up the list of the things that I need to do as a task. And that will allow me to organize myself to be able to accomplish to this goal of changing my behavior to stop procrastinating. And then we go with the analyzing process. In here, we have this information. We already organize it and we already memorize this information. In here, we make the structure in comparing what is it that I was doing and how far my action of the past is to the action that I'm supposed to do. How difficult this can be for me in order to get into this action. Which are the tasks that I'm supposed to be doing? So this is the analyzing process where I start realizing maybe this is going to be perhaps a lot of work for me, but it's very necessary. And then let's go to the evaluating process. And the evaluation process here, you're going to put this information that you already analyzed into a context. In here, you're not only going to compare about the behaviors that you had and the behaviors that you already organized and you have there and then you need to start applying, but you're going to put it into a context. In here, you realize that maybe for studying or for learning a language, you love to waste time on watching your feed on Instagram, seeing your feed on Instagram, and then you're going to realize that you have to stop doing it. And you're going to see the different contexts where you apply the procrastination. And then by evaluating this, you're going to be very conscious, and the next time you're going to think twice before going into your feed and not doing what you're supposed to. And the last one is generating. In here, basically is like this says, producing new ideas, new perspectives. Here, as you already follow these, skills, you make all of this process, you interiorize this information so much that you're going to realize that what you're doing, it's even getting you closer to what you want or getting you further away. And when you're very conscious about what you're doing, the probability that you can accomplish your goal are going to be higher, because as you're conscious about your actions, because you already reflected on it, you already analyzed on it, then you're going to work for you to keep those habits. So for me, sometimes these things are overlooked, and especially when it comes to the self-improvement. Self-improvement is really hard because you cannot change yourself, from one day on another. It's a process, it can take time. But the most important thing is not only the discipline, but the involvement of the part that you get involved into this process and taking yourself seriously. And by taking yourself seriously, you're going to start seeing the results in time. Changing is not easy, but doesn't mean that it's going to be impossible.